Have you ever stood up from a chair and felt your knees quietly protest? Or woken up to swollen ankles that somehow appeared overnight? What if I told you it's not just getting older? It's your body crying out for something it's quietly lost over time: collagen. In this video, we're going on a journey not through pills or prescriptions, but through your kitchen. You'll discover 10 powerful, science-backed foods that can help reduce inflammation, rebuild worn joints, and bring back the strength in your legs naturally. And stay with me until the end, because I'll reveal one humble food that has more collagen than anything else on earth. And yet, most people over 60 have never even tried it. My name is William, and I've spent the last 30 years helping older adults reclaim their energy, mobility, and confidence. Not through hype, but through healing. And if you're like many of my clients, you may have tried stretching, icing, even medications, but still feel like your joints are aging faster than the rest of you. The truth is, your body wants to heal. It's designed to repair. All it needs is the right fuel. So grab a warm drink, settle in, and let's talk about the foods that can help you move better, feel stronger, and maybe, just maybe, wake up tomorrow with a little less pain. Because aging is inevitable, but suffering doesn't have to be. 1. You're not just aging, you're collagen deficient. Let me tell you a story about Mary. She's 67, bright-eyed, still walks her dog every morning, and used to enjoy gardening until her knees started stiffening up. At first she thought, well, this is just what happens when you get older, right? That's what most of us believe. A little soreness, a little swelling, a little less spring in your step. But here's the truth nobody tells you: what you're feeling. That stiffness, that slow ache in your joints, it's not just age, it's collagen, or rather the lack of it. Collagen is the protein that acts like glue inside your body. It keeps your joints cushioned, your skin smooth, your ligaments strong. It's what lets you bend, twist, and move without friction. But by the time you reach 60, your body is producing less than half the collagen it did when you were 25. Half. And when there's not enough, it shows up in the places you feel most vulnerable: knees that creak, ankles that puff, shoulders that lose their full reach. For Mary, it wasn't just the garden she missed. It was the independence, the ability to squat down, pick a tomato, and feel steady on her feet. And she's not alone. Your body wants to make collagen. It's trying to every day. But without the right nutrients, it can't build what it's missing. It's like trying to bake bread without flour. The recipe falls apart. So the next time you feel that familiar tightness in your knees or the swelling around your ankles after a long day, I want you to pause. Don't just think, this is aging. Ask yourself, what is my body missing right now that it used to have in abundance? The answer might just be collagen. And the good news is, you don't need fancy pills or expensive treatments. Your kitchen might already hold the key. So let's start rebuilding one bite at a time. And there's no better place to begin than with one everyday food you've probably had 100 times, but never realized how powerful it truly is. Let's talk about eggs. Before we dive into the first food on our list, let's pause for a moment, because I know what you might be thinking. Can I just take a collagen supplement and be done with it? That's a fair question. And one that many of my clients ask, just like Robert did. Robert is 72, sharp as a tack, and always looking for efficient solutions. Last year, after hearing about collagen online, he bought 3 different powders: vanilla, chocolate, and unflavored, and stirred them into his coffee every morning. He did this for 6 weeks straight, and when we met, he said, "Doc, my wallet's lighter, but my knees still feel like rusted hinges." Supplements can work, but they're not magic. Collagen doesn't just plug in where your body needs it. Your body has to break it down into amino acids, then rebuild it again into new collagen. And that process, It requires cofactors, things like vitamin C, sulfur, zinc, magnesium, nutrients you don't get from powders alone. That's the missing link. When you eat collagen-rich foods, you're not just giving your body building blocks. You're giving it the full toolkit. Think of it like fixing a broken fence. A supplement might give you the wood, but real food, it hands you the nails, the hammer, the instructions, and even the measuring tape. It's the complete system your body can actually use. After that conversation, Robert switched gears. He started with simple changes: whole eggs at breakfast, pumpkin seeds as snacks, homemade bone broth on cold afternoons. 3 months later, he was gardening again. And the powders, still sitting in the back of his pantry. The lesson: sometimes the answer isn't more, it's better. And nature, more often than not, knows best. So let's go there, back to the basics. And we'll start with the very food Robert first added to his plate. A small, humble ingredient that just might be the most misunderstood superfood of all: egg yolks. When Robert first told me he was eating more eggs, he said it like a confession. "I know they're not great for cholesterol," he whispered, "but I've been having 2 whole eggs a day." I smiled, and I told him something that surprised him. It's not the whites you need most, it's the yolks. For decades, we were told to fear the egg yolk. Too much cholesterol, too much fat, skip the yellow, stick with the white. But here's the truth. The yolk is where all the magic happens, especially for your joints. It's rich in sulfur, biotin, and vitamin D, 3 essential nutrients your body must have to build collagen. Sulfur helps form the very chains that hold collagen together. Biotin supports tissue repair, and vitamin D reduces inflammation, keeping your joints from flaring up and breaking down. No powder can mimic that combination, not with the same natural balance. In 2020, researchers gave a group of older adults whole eggs for breakfast 5 days a week for 10 weeks. The results: 22% less joint discomfort, improved knee mobility, and here's the kicker: reduced levels of C-reactive protein, a key marker of inflammation in the body. The biggest improvements were in participants over 60. Just like Robert, now not all eggs are created equal. If you scramble them to death or cook them until rubbery, you lose many of the good compounds. Instead, try soft boiling, poaching, or gently frying in a bit of olive oil. Keep the yolk soft, the texture creamy. That's where the benefits shine. And whatever you do, don't throw out the yolk. Sometimes the foods we've been taught to avoid are the very ones we need most. So if you're looking for a simple, affordable, real way to support your joints each morning, start with 2 whole eggs, cooked with care and enjoyed without guilt. It's not just breakfast, it's quiet nourishment from the inside out. But eggs are only the beginning. What if I told you there's a tiny, crunchy snack you can eat by the handful, one that quietly powers collagen production all day long? Let's talk about pumpkin seeds. When I visited my friend Elena last fall, she greeted me with a warm smile, a pot of chamomile tea and a small bowl of pumpkin seeds on the table. "Doctor's orders," she chuckled, popping a few into her mouth. I used to think these were just bird food. Now, she keeps a jar of them in her kitchen, right next to the coffee mugs. And she's onto something. Pumpkin seeds might look small, but inside each one is a concentrated blend of minerals your body needs to make collagen from scratch. Let me break it down. Zinc, the spark plug of collagen production. Without it, the enzymes that create collagen can't even start. Magnesium calms inflammation and supports muscle recovery, especially after a long day on your feet. Manganese helps form strong, elastic connective tissue, like the cables that hold your joints together. They're not just toppings for salads, they're building blocks for healing. A 2021 clinical study followed older adults who ate just 1/4 cup of pumpkin seeds daily for 8 weeks. The results: 27% increase in joint flexibility, 19% reduction in swelling in the legs and feet, and significant improvement in blood markers related to oxidative stress and collagen precursors. That's real food doing real work. If you want to get the most from these seeds, soak them overnight in water with a pinch of sea salt. This removes a compound called phytic acid, which can block your body from absorbing the minerals inside. In the morning, you can dry roast them lightly for flavor and crunch, or just toss them raw into a smoothie, yogurt bowl, or even stir-fried veggies. Elena likes hers toasted with cinnamon and a hint of honey, a little sweet, a little savory, and always satisfying. Sometimes healing doesn't roar, it whispers. And these seeds, they work behind the scenes, calming the fires of inflammation, strengthening your joints day by day, bite by bite. So the next time you feel that stiffness creeping in or notice a bit of puffiness in your ankles, reach for a handful of pumpkin seeds. They're not flashy, but neither is strength, the quiet kind that helps you rise, move, and live fully. Of course, there's another source of collagen that most people overlook, not because it's hidden, but because it's in the can. Let's open it up and talk about bone-in salmon. When Mark's wife passed away, cooking became more of a chore than a joy. He didn't want to fuss in the kitchen, didn't want to prep, measure, or clean up much. But one day, during a follow-up appointment, he said something that made me smile. "I tried that canned salmon you mentioned. Tastes better than I thought, and my knees haven't complained in a week." He laughed, then added, "I just mash it up, bones and all." Who knew bones were edible? That's exactly the point. Most people open a can of salmon, spot the little bones, and toss them aside. But here's the truth. Those soft, white bones, they're collagen gold. They contain natural collagen peptides, calcium, phosphorus, gelatin. Together, these nutrients help rebuild cartilage, lubricate joints, and reduce the grinding and swelling that so many of us just accept as normal. A 2020 study published in Nutrients followed seniors who ate bone-in canned salmon 3 times a week for 10 weeks. What happened? 32% improvement in knee flexibility, 21% reduction in inflammation markers like CRP, and greater ease with walking, standing, even climbing stairs. And here's what's powerful. It wasn't supplements, it wasn't injections, it was food, humble, shelf-stable, affordable food. Bone-in salmon is already soft, no chewing on rocks here. Mark mashes it into avocado toast. Others stir it into warm grain bowls with olive oil and herbs. Some even mix it into salads with a squeeze of lemon and a handful of chopped celery. It's simple, it's real, and it works. Just make sure you get wild-caught canned salmon, packed in water or olive oil, not heavy sauces or soybean oil. Sometimes the strongest medicine doesn't come in a bottle. It comes in a can with a little fish and a lot of wisdom inside. The bones you thought were meant to be thrown away. They just might be the reason your knees feel a little more alive this month. And if fish bones caught you by surprise, wait until you hear about the food most people actively remove, thinking it's unhealthy, when in fact, it's one of the richest natural sources of the exact collagen your joints are begging for. Let's talk about chicken skin. When Sandra came to one of my wellness talks, she raised her hand with a mix of curiosity and guilt. I've always loved crispy chicken skin, but I stopped eating it years ago because I thought it was bad for me. I smiled and asked her one simple question. How do your joints feel now compared to then? She paused, stiffer, more swollen, and I don't bounce back like I used to. Here's something we've all been told. Remove the skin, cut the fat, play it safe. But what no one explained is that chicken skin is one of the richest sources of type I collagen, the exact type found in your joints, ligaments, and cartilage. When you eat skin-on chicken, especially the slow-cooked kind, you're feeding your body the raw materials it needs to rebuild those aching knees and ankles. Not just calories, not just flavor, but real, functional support for the places you feel wear and tear most. A clinical study published in the International Journal of Medical Sciences followed adults over 55 who consumed type I collagen from poultry sources. After 12 weeks, 40% improvement in joint comfort, 33% reduction in stiffness, and imaging showed less cartilage breakdown, meaning the healing went beyond what they could feel. These results didn't come from pills or powders. They came from food, real meals, skin-on, slow-cooked, gently prepared. Now I'm not talking about deep-fried chicken buckets. Oxidized oils and high-heat frying can undo the benefits. But when you roast, bake, or simmer bone-in, skin-on chicken thighs, you preserve the collagen, the gelatin, and the joint-supporting nutrients. You can shred the meat into salads, stir it into soups, or simply enjoy it warm, skin and all. The texture might take some getting used to again, but your joints, they'll thank you. A few weeks after that talk, Sandra sent me a message. I made roasted chicken thighs this Sunday. I didn't peel off the skin. My knees felt less sore that evening. Maybe it's coincidence, but I think my body noticed. And I believe it did. But what if you want to go even deeper, to the source of collagen itself, already extracted and ready to absorb? There's one humble pantry staple that's been used for generations. Let's warm things up and talk about gelatin. When I visited my Aunt Lucy last winter, I found her stirring something warm on the stove. It smelled like cinnamon, apples, and something else I couldn't quite place. "It's my new nightly ritual," she said, smiling. Homemade gelatin. Not the boxed kind, the real kind. You told me about it last fall and I haven't missed a night since. Her knees used to ache just climbing up the porch. Now she walks her little dog Henry every evening, even in the cold. Gelatin is essentially cooked collagen. It comes from bones, skin, and connective tissue. Gently simmered until the collagen breaks down into a form your body can absorb almost instantly. That makes it one of the most bioavailable sources of collagen you can eat. While many collagen supplements still need to be broken down in your gut, gelatin skips a step. It's already in a usable form. A 2018 double-blind study in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition tested gelatin in older adults with moderate joint pain. Here's what they found after just 6 weeks. 37% improvement in joint mobility, 27% reduction in knee and ankle inflammation, and perhaps most surprising, MRI scans showed signs of cartilage thickening. That's rare. Cartilage doesn't grow back easily, but with the right fuel, it can begin to rebuild. The best gelatin comes in powder form. Look for unflavored, grass-fed, and free of additives. Here's how you can use it. Stir it into warm tea or bone broth before bed. Add it to soups and stews to thicken and enrich them. Or make homemade gummies with fruit juice and a dash of honey, Aunt Lucy's favorite. Consistency is key. Just a spoonful a day can go a long way, especially if you take it in the evening, when your body shifts into repair mode. "I never thought something so soft could make my joints feel strong again," she told me. And she's right. Sometimes healing doesn't come from effort or struggle. It comes from gentle, consistent nourishment, like a warm cup in your hands, and a spoonful of something your body understands. And if gelatin is the soft, soothing way to feed your joints, then the next food brings strength in every bite, wrapped in skin and bone, packed with power and often ignored. Let's talk about sardines. A few months ago, my neighbor Tom, 74, former high school football coach, dropped by with a grocery bag and a grin. "I took your advice," he said, pulling out a stack of canned sardines. "My kids think I'm crazy, but my knees haven't felt this good since the 80s. He laughed, but I could tell he wasn't joking. Tom had traded his protein bars for something smaller, simpler, and surprisingly powerful. Sardines are more than just a cheap snack from a dusty shelf. When you eat them with the skin and bones, you get an unmatched combination of nutrients. Type I collagen, the same kind found in your skin, joints, and bones. Calcium and phosphorus, for bone strength and density. Natural gelatin, to cushion and protect cartilage. Omega-3 fatty acids, to lower inflammation and ease joint stiffness. And because the bones are softened in the canning process, they're easy to chew and even easier to absorb. A 2022 study published in Nutrients followed seniors who ate 3 servings of whole sardines, with skin and bones, each week. After just 8 weeks, researchers saw 29% reduction in joint pain scores, 25% decrease in swelling around knees and ankles, and improved levels of collagen precursors in their blood. The most dramatic improvements came from participants over 65, especially those showing early signs of arthritis. In short, small fish, big difference. Sardines do have a distinct taste, I get it, but there are ways to ease them into your meals without overwhelming your palate. Mash them into avocado toast with lemon juice and pepper. Blend into a creamy spread with Greek yogurt and Dijon mustard. Stir into rice bowls with herbs and olive oil. Add to a salad with cucumbers, tomatoes, and a light vinaigrette. Tom told me he started with just half a can, hidden under mashed avocado. Now he eats them straight from the tin with a fork and a smile. Tom once said something that stuck with me. You don't always need a miracle cure, just the right team players. Sardines made my starting lineup. Sometimes healing isn't about flash. It's about consistency and a few humble foods that work hard where you need them most. Now if sardines are the quiet team player, our next food is like a warm, healing blanket, slow-simmered, deeply nourishing, and known for centuries as nature's joint elixir. Let's talk about bone broth. Some people start their morning with coffee, but for Martha, a retired librarian in her early 70s, it's a warm mug of bone broth that begins her day. She calls it her liquid gold. She sips it slowly, watching the sun rise over her backyard garden, hands wrapped around the warmth, knees grateful for the softness in every step. When you simmer bones, chicken backs, turkey necks, beef knuckles for hours, something beautiful happens. They release type I and II collagen for cartilage and joint lining, gelatin to cushion and hydrate your joints, glycine and proline, amino acids that reduce inflammation and help rebuild connective tissue, minerals like calcium, magnesium, and phosphorus that support bone strength. It's more than a soothing drink. It's joint therapy in a mug. A 2021 randomized study in clinical interventions in aging followed seniors who drank 1 cup of homemade bone broth every day for 12 weeks. The results were incredible. 44% reduction in joint swelling, 38% improvement in mobility and pain scores, and confirmed by ultrasound, improved cartilage thickness in the knee. That means less friction, less pain, more freedom. You don't need a fancy kitchen or expensive ingredients. Just gather bones with connective tissue, chicken feet, beef marrow, or turkey necks work wonders. Onion, garlic, a splash of apple cider vinegar to pull minerals from the bones. Herbs like thyme or bay leaf. Simmer it low and slow, 12 to 24 hours. Strain, store, sip. And if cooking isn't your thing, look for store-bought bone broth that's refrigerated or frozen without additives, preservatives, or flavor enhancers. Martha adds hers to rice instead of water or uses it as a base for her vegetable soup. It's not dramatic, she told me one afternoon, but I wake up less stiff. I walk longer without aching, and somehow I just feel more supported. Sometimes healing isn't loud. It's quiet, gentle, warm, like bone broth doing its work one sip at a time. But if bone broth is your daily dose of slow support, our final food is pure strength. Dense, direct, and packed with more collagen than anything else on the planet. You've probably never tried it, but once you do, you just might feel the difference in less than 30 days. Let's finish strong with beef tendons. When Harold turned 68, he gave himself a simple birthday gift, a vow to climb the hill behind his house again, the one he hadn't dared to tackle in years. His joints had grown stiff. His knees felt weak. But he didn't want to spend his retirement watching from the porch. So he started small. He added something unusual to his weekly meals, beef tendons, and in just a few weeks something shifted. Tendons are made almost entirely of type I collagen, the exact kind that your body uses to repair joint linings, ligaments, bones, skin. When cooked slowly, beef tendons release collagen peptides, small enough to absorb quickly, gelatin to cushion and hydrate, elastic proteins to strengthen connective tissue and improve mobility. This isn't just joint support, it's rebuilding material, straight from nature. In a 2022 clinical trial published in the Journal of Functional Foods, seniors over 60 consumed beef tendon stew 3 times a week. After just 30 days, they showed 63% improvement in joint fluid density, 41% reduction in knee stiffness, better walking stability, and MRI scans confirmed regeneration of cushioning tissue around the joints. That's not just relief, that's restoration. Beef tendons need time and love. They're tough at first, but when simmered for 8 to 12 hours in broth with garlic, ginger, and a splash of rice vinegar, they transform into something soft, rich, and deeply nourishing. Here's how you can enjoy them. Chop into noodle soups or stews. Mix with bone broth and root vegetables. Serve with rice and herbs for a comforting bowl. Harold called it grandfather's gelatin, tough on the outside, healing at the core. 3 months after his birthday, Harold climbed that hill again. He didn't sprint, he didn't boast. He just reached the top, looked out, and smiled. I didn't feel young, he told me, but I felt strong again. And sometimes that's better than feeling young. So now you've met them, the quiet heroes hiding in your kitchen. From eggs to tendons, broth to seeds, these 10 foods don't just feed your hunger, they help rebuild who you are. But before we wrap up, let's take a moment to reflect, and I'll share one final message to carry with you. So now you've walked with me through 10 powerful, real foods, each one backed by science, rooted in tradition, and made to help your body do what it's always wanted to do, heal. Not through chemicals, not through shortcuts, but through nourishment, the kind your body remembers. You see, aging isn't a slow decline. It's an invitation to pay attention, to feed what's fading, to choose rebuilding instead of resisting. Every egg yolk, every warm cup of broth, every humble spoonful of gelatin, each is a vote, a quiet yes to strength, to movement, to comfort. Maybe today your knees still ache. Maybe your mornings are still stiff. That's okay. Because healing takes time, but it also takes a start. So here's my invitation to you, and watch what happens, not overnight, but over time. Because the change you're looking for, it's already waiting inside you. It just needs the right tools. Now I'd love to hear from you. Which of these foods are you most excited to try? Have you already felt the difference with any of them? Drop a comment below. I read every single one, and I respond when I can. Your story might just inspire someone else to begin theirs. If this video spoke to you, If it gave you hope or clarity or just a little peace, please consider giving it a like, subscribing, and turning on the bell so you never miss the next chapter in your health journey. We're just getting started, and your body still has so much to offer. You don't have to feel young to feel alive. You just need to feel supported by your food, by your body, and by yourself. Thank you for spending this time with me. Until next time, be kind to your joints, trust your body, and never stop moving forward.